I've been relegated. There's nothing worse than that, you know? Like, I think people know, like, I wasn't able to handle pressure or control my emotions very well in the past. But with growing up, I think that you learn to accept these situations for what they are, and you want to thrive in them. Because the worst thing you can do as a player or a coach is look back on your career and have regrets. And the only way to have no regrets is to be fearless and play these matches with pressure and do your best and leave the rest up to fate and be okay with that.
Welcome back to Game 4, where Fnatic Academy have a 2-1 lead over the Giants, who need to come up with a strong performance, Vedius.
Yes, they do. They looked much better in game 3. Sorry, game 1 they had a great early game lead. Game 2 they fell behind and found a way back into the game. And I feel like that we're really seeing the strength of Fnatic when Kikis gets himself a carry. This man on your screen has really been performing exceptionally well when he's able to just freely dominate his lane opponent in that 1v1 environment. And I think that that's the shift that Fnatic need to move towards if they want to try and round things out in a 3-1. But for Giants, their backs are definitely against the wall.
It's not all Kikis all the time in that top lane, though. Flaxish had some incredible plays at times on that Renekton, even though he fell behind a little bit with that top tower going down early.
Yeah, this was a great 2v1 outplay. Again, the key thing to note is that Kikis did actually miss his fish, and then a really good flash from Flaxish, along with the fact that the tower aggro swapped over to Amazing, is what enabled him to get that 2 versus 1 outplay. So we talked about it in the previous game. There were moments of greatness from the side of Giants throughout that entire game, and there have been very good moments throughout this series, but I feel like that Fnatic have consistently, or been more consistent when it comes to controlling the map. They've been the ones dictating the pace. They've been the ones that have been making the plays happen. And sometimes they're bad plays, and Giants capitalize, but other times they're good plays, and it just results in them being able to get a big enough lead that they can then close out the win.
Well, we saw more of those good plays this game. They had some great team fights. They were able to take objectives off them, specifically that team fight around the middle lane where they were able to get the Baron straight away afterwards.
Yeah, so this was actually a fight where the jungler had already been killed, so Fnatic felt confident enough that they could secure this Baron without risk of a steal. And while the Baron did get very low, Amazing had a good enough smite in order to secure that objective. And I think that this demonstrates a bit of the confidence, I want to use, of Fnatic, where they stick around for a fight longer than they necessarily need to, but at the same time, they respect that they can get a few extra kills here and there. They can look to punish Giants a little bit more, but then they're very aware of, okay, let's not throw away anything, let's not stick around for too long. They backed off, and that's why I say that that was the cleaner game that they've had, or the cleanest game they've had this whole series, ending in 33 minutes, utilizing a good Baron to then very swiftly end the game.
Giants, on the other hand, are facing going down to that losers bracket. Of course, it is a double elimination bracket tournament. You have to lose 2 best-of-5s to get eliminated. But if you lose today, you have to wait a week before you get your chance at redemption. And even then, you have to play another game after that to try and get back into the LCS. Their backs are up against the wall, and Fnatic Academy are incredibly close to getting towards that LCS. Just 2 wins it takes them to get there.
Yeah, it's definitely a big, not only confidence booster for Fnatic Academy, but also better sets them up for success, right? They're, with only 1 more series win, as you rightly said, then they are the ones that will make it into the LCS promotion tournament, and we will have the updated bracket later on into the day. But for now,
we can't really update the bracket now because no one's won.
Exactly. So let's jump into Game 4 instead.
Let's get straight on into the champion select. Fnatic Academy elected to take the red side. They broke the red side winning spree in the last game. They will be looking to continue at this. Immediately, Giants ban out that Fizz.
Makes sense. Kikis had a really good performance on it in Game 3. Game 2, he actually brought out the Nautilus, and then in Game 1, what we saw from Kikis was the Gragas. Yes, you are correct. So I think this is a trend that we have been seeing from him. While he's not bad at tanks, he just seems to be more comfortable and better when he is free to play these carries.
You were saying, though, Giants weren't able to deal with Kikis getting one of those split pushes. They've realized that as well, and they've just banned out all of the top lane, basically away from Kikis. Akali, Camille, and the Fizz, and now we wonder if Kikis has to fall back to one of those tankier champions that, although he can still make plays on, doesn't quite have the carry potential.
He probably will shift more towards that. Bear in mind that The Nautilus is available again. Now, when Fnatic were on red side in game 2, their first rotations were Lee, Lulu, and Ezreal. Very safe and well-rounded composition. They had banned out the Rengar as well. The only shift I could see is if Amazing wanted to go for the Elise instead of the Lee Sin. But if you are playing Elise, the risk of you falling off is slightly higher. With Graves being open, Fnatic Academy could also take that away from Giants, but I feel like Amazing actually hasn't really played very much Graves. It's not really a champion that fits his style.
No, hasn't played it at all in his Challenger Series escapades, at least, but could still try and just take it away from Memento. You have banned out the Kha'Zix, so then you really force Memento down his pool. Seen mostly that Graves throughout, well, we've seen only that Graves throughout playoffs. It is going to be an early Zyra lock, even with Lulu on the cards here. So Fnatic going a little bit more aggressive, and perhaps looking towards that Graves as well.
A lot of junglers being hovered right now. Yeah, but the Zyra, I think that it naturally gives Fnatic Academy an already powerful bottom lane. Hustlin may shift towards, I'm thinking Karma. I think that they would early rotate that. It does pretty well into the Zyra, very safe lane. You could actually do a Karma and jungle rotation on this time around. Make sure that the jungle pool doesn't get pinched even further. What is Memento going to go for? I mean, he has a few options. Back in the Challenger Series qualifiers, I believe he actually played the Nocturne.
He did, yeah.
When he played for a different team. I can't remember the name of them.
He played for Nerve in the Challenger Series qualifiers. He was actually knocked out by, not by Fnatic Academy, by Kingwin,
right,
who won there. He was playing a lot of Kha'Zix then as well, not to the effect that he has been in the LCS, struggled on it a little bit. It's going to be the Lulu lock here for Giants, so they will get hustling the Lulu for the first time at this series. And now perhaps, as you say, we'll look towards that jungle role. Could still look AD carry if they really wanted to.
Ashe, other available picks. It just depends on how afraid they are of getting that jungle pool pinched. Oh, of course, how can we forget Graves? Yeah, a jungler that he's played throughout the series. His most played jungler, but so far throughout the series, he's only been able to get 1 win.
It's at 2-13 across the split. Which,
and the thing is, he doesn't even play a bad Graves. I just feel like he's not having an impact on the Graves, right? So,
and it's already an Ezreal lock for Fnatic Academy. So once again, a pretty similar composition from them that we've seen them run. However, they've left the possibility of a 1-3-1 for later on here, with their top and their mid still being available. They are going to target out that AD carry role from Giants. Expect a Varus ban alongside perhaps an Ashe ban here, just to lock Hiku out of his favorite champ.
I think Giants are going to continue on banning away top laners. You can ban away the Rumble and the Shen. You could also... other top laners to think about. I don't know if Kikis is going to bring out the Jax. Yeah, Gnar is a possibility as well. I feel like Rumble would be the safest ban, and then that would move Kikis over onto something like a Gnar.
How is Gnar into the Nautilus?
I mean, I mean, Gnar has the advantage, the slight advantage, because he has a range lead over him, but Nautilus has so much wave clear, and he's a straightforward champion.
Could, of course, be the Teemo. It's not going to be a Teemo.
I mean, it could be.
I really hope
it could be Tryndamere. I mean, if we're talking about could-be's, right? The realistic expectation is that I think that Rumble and Gnar make the most sense. He doesn't have to pick them now. Instead, you could just blind pick the Syndra, something that Niski has felt pretty comfortable on throughout the series. Knight may very well answer with an Ahri, but I think the better option would be for him to go into a control mage like he could go for Talia. It's a little dangerous into Syndra, but you have more roaming capabilities, and on top of that, you could also go for
Ori.
I also just want to see him on a Cassio. I just think it's one of his strongest champions. And it's pretty fine into the matchup. You may very well just go Ryze once again as well.
I like the Orianna only because it works so well with the rest of his comp. Like, in the last couple of games, he's had that Rumble top. Now he's got the Nautilus, which allows him to get that ball delivery system a little bit easier. Fnatic Academy leaving their top laner for last. Now, this is a slight change from them, deciding that they want to prioritize getting Kikis a good counter matchup. And it is going to be the Kled. Right. Let's charge on into this game. This is a deciding game for Fnatic Academy as well. You have to remember this. This is a pick they must be confident on, because otherwise you don't pick it in Game 4 when you're on your way, perhaps, to the LCS.
Well, we have seen Kled a couple of times during the regular season of the LCS. I remember Wonder bringing it out. I remember Soaz on the main Fnatic squad also bringing out the Kled. And he's very all-in. That is very much his playstyle. One of the big risks that you have of running Kled into a tank is that when you come into the mid game and you try to engage into a fight, you always end up hitting the tank with your ulti because you always go on to the nearest target rather than the target of your choosing. So depending on how well Flaxis understands the matchup, he could look to try and abuse that. But this time around, Giants, they've gone for more of a teamfight comp. They've moved away from the 1-3-1. Fnatic have more of a 1-4 split push with, again, a lot of skirmishing and a lot of picking power with their composition. But they also have decent team fighting too. So here's hoping that in Game 4, we'll be seeing a lot of back and forth fights between the two teams.
I'm sure we are, because there's a Kled in the game. If you guys want to get involved, make sure you're tweeting at us at LOL Esports. If you think Giants are going to equalize the series at 2-2, it's hashtag GIA win. If you think Fnatic Academy are going to get their first win on the way to the LCS, it's hashtag FNA win. It's so tense between these two teams now. You can sense the emotion, the anxiety in the room. Fnatic Academy so close to breaking the 100% promotions record from...
No, they're not. They're not. Because...
oh, yeah, you can still get through promotions. It's not 100% lost.
I actually remember Giants versus Splice in the promotion tournament.
They lost 3-1.
Last year, yep. And then they ended up going against whoever was being promoted up, and they ended up beating them in a 5-game series. Can't remember the team that they did beat. I want to say it was...
I have it down somewhere.
Huma,
it's
right?
No, 3-1 versus Huma, and 3-2 versus Copenhagen Wolves.
Ah.
Well, we're going to get onto the Summoner's Rift here. Fnatic Academy, so close. They can even taste it. It's in the air. They're ready for it. They want this win. They've gone for the Kled top. Kikis picking that. It's the 6th time we have seen it in the European LCS, assuming you count promotion tournament as part of the LCS. Previously, out of the 5 times it's been picked, guess how many times it's won? 4 times, sorry. 4 times it's been picked.
Kled?
Yeah.
I think it's won once.
Nope, it's never won in the European LCS this split.
Are you sure?
I've got stats in front of me that say it's never won.
I'm certain that...
Cabashard's played it, Faxi's played it, Soez has played it, and Wonder has played it, and they have all lost.
Oh, I thought Fnatic won that game we played. My mistake.
It could be that my stats are wrong, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Anyway, Kled, fun champion, really good at dueling, often does really well into tanks. One of the biggest problems that he has is a severe lack of wave clear during the laning phase. Actually had a really good chat with Alfari early on during the season about Kled. And you want to try and rush a Tiamat as soon as you can, because once you get it, your laning phase is really, really good. The problem for Kled is that his W, the passive that gives him a bit of extra movement speed.
Violent tendencies.
Yes. You can't actually control it because it's like a constant passive. So whenever you have the passive and you hit a minion, then it is always up, right? Yeah. So you just activate it. So that means that when you see him use his passive, which he cannot control, that is the window that you use to try and trade against him, because he loses a lot of his DPS.
It's a 4th shot passive, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. But in the... Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. But Kled is also like a really difficult champion to play because you have to really effectively manage your cooldowns.
Reminds me a lot of Gnar.
I think it's easier than... I think it's harder than Gnar, personally. Because Gnar can... If you don't know how to play... Like, it's difficult to use Gnar's ultimate, but like Mini Gnar is easy to play and Mega Gnar is easy to play, right? Okay. It's the combination of the two that I think is difficult, whereas being able to understand when you can take advantage of the invulnerability of shifting into... from Kled onto Skarl is very difficult. Very high skill cap champion, so we'll get to see how proficient Kikis is on the Kled.
Are we going to expect to see Momentum and Amazing putting time up here, or is it a matchup that Kled should just naturally win, so that Amazing's not really going to focus up towards the top side too much?
I don't think that Kled will innately win it. I think that he will, once he gets a few items under his belt, have more pushing capabilities and be better at trading. But early on, it doesn't necessarily go heavily in the favor of Kled just because of his severe lack of wave clear.
Pretty slow start from both these teams. We haven't seen a first blood within the first minute, so obviously this isn't the sort of more chaotic fight style we saw from the previous few games.
As we progress through the series, both teams have actually just improved and have become less chaotic. Like, at the very first game was 50 minutes, and it was like throw left, right, and center. In game 2, there were just a couple of throws here and there. Now, we might be seeing first blood going in the favor of no one. As,
you have to hit the Sonic Wave to be able to get the first blood.
He tries to go for a gank mid, like the creative pathing, but isn't quite able to land it. So, good pressure regardless from Fnatic Academy early on into the game.
Clyde's down to about half health here. EQ took some damage as well, as we saw Mr. Rales stepping up. Kled Kikis looking for perhaps a flank here. Knight does still have flash. Here comes Amazing, jumps in, Sonic Wave. Kikis is going to join the fray. Knight will flash away. Amazing flashes to follow, as does Niski, and Knight is going to be first blood. You predicted it, Vedius. Just a couple of minutes too early, and now Memento's going to chase down Amazing. Is he going to escape? Sonic Wave onto Kikis. Great play by Amazing to get himself out safe.
The body block from Kikis to keep Amazing alive, and the first blood going in favor of Fnatic Academy is a great way for them to start the game. Sure, Kikis, he'll lose a bit of farm up in the top lane, but the fact that Knight is getting shut down, he has no summoner spells available, and Niski on this Syndra will now have an edge over the Orianna, is going to be massive for the early game of Fnatic Academy.
Fnatic Academy got first blood last game, we're able to snowball it. This time they'll be looking to do the same, and you can already see 10 CS advantage in the mid lane for Niski. He's going to back away, did burn both of his summoners as well though, so it's all the summoners down in the mid lane.
But the important thing to remember is that Memento does not impact his lanes at all. Notice that Memento, he's just about to clear out his red, he gets zoned away, and the great thing about Kikis coming in here is while he doesn't actually assist, it stops Knight from being able to flash towards his tier 2 turret. Because if he does, then Kikis will just kill him, right? And he has his passive to be able to get away, and then you can see it, because he goes behind Kikis, the body block from Kikis as well, along with the shield that he gets from his safeguard, is what keeps Amazing alive. So really good play overall, a really good dive from Fnatic Academy.
I think Memento actually attacked a ward that Amazing placed right at the end there as well.
Oh,
so,
damn.
Yeah, it's good awareness by Amazing to put that down and just be like, maybe he'll do it, maybe he'll attack it. There's a lot, we see it with Thresh Lanterns a lot of the time. You spam wards on it to try and stop people from taking it. Flaxus didn't really gain an advantage from Kikis leaving the lane either. Like, Kikis still ahead in CS. Bear Trap on a rope's going to come down and not quite pull him back, just doesn't quite hit its timer, but Kikis still able to push back Flaxus, who has gone for this triple Dorman start. It's something we're seeing
the Frodo, a lot. The Frodo build.
Frodo.
Yeah.
Well, no, Frodo only had one ring.
The Lord of the Rings build is the alternative.
It'd be a Sauron build then.
It helps with your laning phase a lot. It just gives you a lot of raw power, but it does delay your scaling a little bit. Now, Flaxish does read the possibility of a dive, but with the jungle at top, PQ and Hustin feel confident enough to trade aggressively.
Memento's here as well, not level 6, no flash. This is a difficult dive. They're going to go on to Rallis, who flashes back underneath the turret. Clay is there. They've still got the heal and the exhaust. They do get a flash out, so Giants do get a summoner spell advantage in that fight.
There goes Skull.
Cowardly.
Kikis does a lot of damage when he's in this mode, by the way. I was surprised because I thought I'd killed him when I was in a 1 versus 1. No, not Kikis, a Kled, sorry. Because I'd just taken off his Skull and I thought, that's easy, he's going to die now. I ran out of my W on my Irelia, and then he ended up killing me because of like, the ridiculous amount of damage that he does in that mode.
And it's so easy to build that courage back up with the pocket pistol. If there's a few people grouped up, you get a lot of damage down. And get it from killing out minions. So Kikis will be able to farm himself back up to tower. Niski is just looking to see if they can get vision. Once again, we see a vision game being played. Bottom side of the jungle belongs to Giants. Top side to Fnatic. Knight is caught out here. Amazing there. Shockwave comes down, but Amazing will chase him out. Second kill of the game on the Lee Sin. Amazing's making waves.
I like the pressure that Amazing is exerting on the mid lane, because one of the big weaknesses that Orianna does have is that she's got no innate mobility or innate escapes, which means that when her summoners are down, she is just this big, juicy target that's waiting to be ganked. And when you have a Syndra and a Lee Sin, you should look to abuse that as often as you possibly can. So a lot of really good plays being made around the mid lane, which is, I think that it's unfortunate that the kills are going on to Amazing, but Niski's still reaping some of the benefits in terms of CS advantage, as well as an experience lead, and it's forcing Knight to go very early into Merc Treads during the laning phase.
Something we've seen him do a lot is that sort of defensive itemization. After the first game with the Ari, he's been very defensive in his builds. And my mind comes back to sort of before these games and when we were discussing who was going to get picked out of these Challenger Series teams. And a lot of us thought perhaps Misfits Academy looked like perhaps the weaker team because Pride Stalker's a little bit easier to shut down. Giants actually chose to play against Fnatic Academy. In this first game, they had the option of which team they were going to play, and they said, we'll take on Fnatic. We think we can beat them. That is coming back to bite them now. The Cullen's going to come in from Hiku, immediately exhausted, flashed forward for that. Heal used by Marlers to get himself out.
Damn, Hiku. That was an angry flash. He really wanted to try and get the kill down. You can see that with the Lucian pick, he's decided that he wants to try and net more advantages during the laning phases. Ooh, that's a really good trade for Kikis.
Yeah, depth charge comes back up. Actually, Flaxis engaged this. Kikis will just push the wave once again and then back away. And it should have enough gold to look towards that Tiamat, or the start of his item build at least.
So Black Cleaver, Tiamat is the usual conventional build path, but I want to come back to the point that you made when we talked to Fnatic this morning about what did they think about Giants choosing them. They were very surprised and they felt very confident.
Yeah.
They thought that, or they feel that Misfits Academy is actually the weaker team of the two. And they think that they were able to take advantage of the fact that Schalke had what was effectively a bad day and weren't a team that could play on stage. They were really good in an online environment. When moving to the stage, it was Misfits Academy that were actually able to come out on top. And so Misfits Academy felt like coming into this series that they would actually be able to shut down Giants and have a much easier path towards making it into the LCS. And while there certainly have been a few messy games, I still feel like throughout the series, Fnatic Academy have felt like the stronger team, purely because of how much more willing they are to try and make plays. And so far in this early game, they've gotten themselves another really good start.
They've taken the lead once again, and you have to remember that in a lot of seasons past, the Challenger Series teams have been on a lower level than LCS, and they've never really looked to challenge, and we've seen consistently LCS teams getting back into the LCS, apart from one or two outstanding like Origin and Misfits. You know, they dominated the league and then they were able to win. This season was the most stacked season we have ever seen of Challenger Series. PSG there, Schalke there, Fnatic Academy, Misfits Academy, so many big names playing. You had previous world semi-finalists playing in the Challenger Series. Here you've got a Fnatic Academy squad who have 4 LCS veterans and a mid laner who has been around for a good couple of years in a competitive environment. They are not an inexperienced team.
No.
And I wonder if Giants just underestimated the fact that when they come to a LAN, when they come to the big stage, this Fnatic Academy team is going to show up.
And I also think that when we were looking at the teams, one of the things that we discussed were, are Fnatic a little bit too much of a one-style play?
1-3-1.
Yeah, like I thought the 1-3-1 was pretty much the only style that they could play and win with, because when you looked at them trying to fight PSG, they often really struggled, right? PSG would often come out ahead, largely because of the comp advantage that they have, but it was the fact that Fnatic were always being drawn into their playstyle, right? However, right now what we're seeing is Fnatic do have this variation. Amazing doesn't only camp Kikis. There are games where he puts a lot of emphasis around the entirety of the map, and this game he's put a lot of focus onto helping Niski. And I think right now it's proving a lot of benefit. Look, you can see a big CS discrepancy in the mid lane. The Syndra's transitioning nicely into the mid game, and now they're actually looking for a possible roam up top.
Well, Amazing is here. They're going to look for the tower. They forced Flaxish back already. A good gold lead for Fnatic Academy, and they might even look for the first tower. Now, Giants going deep. Heku diving under the tower. Flaxis is here. He's teleported in. He's got to flash the wall. Dredgeline comes out, lands onto Cly. They're going to get the kill. The shotgun flashed away, though. Turret goes down in the top lane. Fnatic Academy playing across the map here. They'll give up their tower in the bot, but they'll put pressure in mid, and they might even look for a tier 2 in that top lane.
Really good play coming out from the Giants, Giant squad on the bottom half of the map, but the fact that Fnatic Academy could get themselves that tier 1 tower on the top will give them a lot of pressure and maybe even make a play in mid.
Well, Giants have got a flank here. Knight's there. Amazing. It would be a 3v2. Of course, there is the charge to come in from Kikis if he wants to join the fight. I've discussed this with Stress before. If an ultimate name has an exclamation mark at the end, you have to say it in that way. So it's Super Mega Death Rocket, charge! You have to make sure.
Oh, charge.
Yeah, oh, charge. And nah. Like, you can't say nah, just like, oh yeah, he's used nah. Oh, nah. You have to be like, nah!
Well, it's a color cast where I say, what an R! Beautiful ultimate.
Great use of his Q there.
Exactly.
Niski clears out the wave once again. Well, at the moment, Fnatic are at the front of the queue for their LCS spot. They need to win this game and then one more series against either Origin or Misfits Academy, depending who wins tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow, guys, make sure you're tuning in for that series. It starts at 5 p.m. CEST once again. Misfits Academy taking on Origin. I think a lot of people are slating Misfits Academy perhaps as a one-hit wonder against Schalke, but I'm sure they'll bring out the big guns playing up against Xpeke's team.
Well, for the time being, Fnatic Academy, everyone's eyes are on them as they're looking to round things out in a 3-for-1 with the way that the game has been going so far. They're looking poised to do so. but there's still a lot of the game left. Looking at the composition of Giants, they actually hit a pretty powerful mid-game spike. The Lucian looking to build, well, I think is a Black Cleaver second, and now Clyde face checking the brush.
Yeah, Memento's there. Here comes EQ as well. Clyde, not long for the Rift. Taken down. Well, let's put some damage back, but just not enough at the moment from this Ezreal.
Memento just taking advantage of the lack of vision coming out from Fnatic Academy, and now hustling.
Being taken advantage of in the river as well. Flashes away from the Sonic Wave, trying to get down towards the rest of his team. Hikyu's on his way up the Wild Growth. Niski there as well. Unleash power, exhaust straight away. And actually, Amazing's being caught out, chased into the pit, jumps out to the side. Here's the charge. Kikis onto Knight. Mr. Rales gets the kill. Fnatic collapse superbly well on Giants and get themselves another kill.
What was supposed to be a kill onto hustling for Fnatic Academy actually ends up in a kill tonight because of how swiftly Kikis could make his way from the top side of the map into that fight. Things were looking very bleak for Fnatic Academy after it took so long for them to even get hustling even remotely low. When the shockwave was gone from Knight, when he had nowhere left to run, Fnatic Academy were very swiftly able to get themselves a kill and the mid-tier 1.
So much cleaner from Fnatic Academy as well, and you can see they know when Kikis is on this split pusher, they want to get him as far ahead as possible. So what do? They get the Rift Herald. They got it for him on the Fizz last game. This game, they're going to give it to him on the Kled. We've seen how quickly he can react. Doesn't need the TP, he can just charge him from the side. They get him this buff, and at the moment, I don't see how Flaxus deals with him in that split push role.
Well, that's going to be one of the big answers because you really can't send Orianna off into a side lane. Giants are very much about grouping up as a 5-man unit and forcing fights on the map. And given the deficit that they're at, they can't afford to try and fight right now. Just look at the item differential that you're seeing between Knight and Niski.
Morello Nomicon completed Sorcerer's Shoes as well. No Morellos for Knight. There is a Blade of the Ruin King on Hikyu, though. He's still doing work on this Lucian, yet to die this game. Trinity Force finish for Mr. Rales, though, so switching up that build slightly as opposed to last game. Now, Infernal Drake is on the cards, and you can see Giants have once again set up vision around it. This is something they've done well throughout the series, garnering vision control around objectives before they want to go for the take.
The question is, how are Fnatic going to answer? Right now, they do have control over the mid lane wave, so they can actually push this in as, ooh, Giants go in.
Amazing, hooked up, jumps away though. Here's Rales off towards the side. It's a 3-way pincer from Fnatic. The TP in towards the back. Kikis is here. Can't jump over that wall with Kled, but can come around and try and flank. No charge available for him for the moment. Infernal Drake still aggroed by Giants. Kikis on his way, looking for the fray. Flaxus tries to chuck the dredge line out, but can't quite connect. Here's Amazing, looking for the smite, steal away, doesn't get it. Giants take the fight, and now Knight caught out. He's unleashed power, he's dead. Kikis is here into 4 members of Giants. What can he do? He's caught Memento, pulled him back with the bear trap on a rope. Kikis just needs one more. Auto takes him down, and now Flaxus taken away from the side of the fight as well, has to flash. Hikyu actually getting chased down by Clyde, does get away from the Stranglethorns, but Kikis is actually still looking for the flank. Flaxus is going to fall to Mr. Rales, and Amazing. Fnatic Academy take 3 kills, they lose the Dragon, but what can they get off this?
Well, right now, their focus is on that mid lane tower. Remember, they were able to get mid priority before that Dragon even started. They pushed a minion wave all the way into that tower, and now they're looking to claim or reap the benefits after losing that Drake.
Can't quite get that mid lane tower, of course. They have managed to solidify themselves a gold lead, though. 4,000 ahead, 16 minutes in. I think this is the largest lead we've seen early on from either of these two teams. And although Fnatic don't get the Infernal Drake, the fight afterwards went very well for them. We saw how they can play around those flank positions.
And Fnatic Academy are playing much better around these neutral objectives. Bear in mind, their vision control was much better, moving towards the Dragon. And just look at the setup. There's the minion wave already being pushed down mid. Sure, they can't secure the smite, but they get a kill down on tonight. And the flank from Kikis is enough for Fnatic to feel confident to try and keep this fight going. Hikyu's already zoned off to the side, so there's very little risk of him being collapsed upon. And just look at your minimap, you can see Amazing. He's already started to push down mid. If he hadn't gone for the chase onto Flaxus and instead started focusing on that tower, perhaps Fnatic Academy could have gotten there sooner. Instead, they go for the play, they get themselves a couple of extra kills, and overall it's still a game for Fnatic, and I don't think they're going to be too displeased if they don't get themselves that tower.
Not at all. Hikyu and Hustling, though, are trying to set up for something here onto Mr. Rales. Perhaps, once again, we're going to see the Fnatic push against Fnatic. If Rales pushes too far forward, he will get caught out. Of course, used Flash in that last fight as well. Flies on his way up, will spot Memento, and now Mr. Rales will probably be a little bit safer as Hikyu pokes his head out of the bush. The wave's not quite here for Giants. There is a true shot barrage available from Rales if they want to just try and clear these minions as they get to the tower. Deciding against it for the time being. It just all evened out a little bit here. Fnatic happy to play a little bit of a waiting game, especially since they're very close to big items. See a needlessly large rod and a blasting wand on towards Niski. Black Cleaver completed on Kikis as well.
So big spikes have been gained for Fnatic Academy, but they did actually get caught a little bit there by Giants on the rotation. They had like 3 members moving through the jungle. They had no one pushing mid, which means that when Giants sent 2-3 members to the top side of the map, Fnatic couldn't actually net anything else anywhere else on the map. They couldn't shove underneath the turret in the bottom lane because Blackfish was able to answer, and they had no real minion wave in the mid. So unfortunate loss there for Fnatic in the top side of the map. Will give Giants a little bit more gold, close the gap ever so slightly. But in terms of overall control, Fnatic still in the lead. Good vision investment towards the bottom side of the map will result in them moving towards this tier 1 and look to try and set up a siege. You can see now, again, push in mid, Orianna has to answer, and there should be a window where Fnatic can start making movements down to the bottom side of the map.
No teleport on Kikis at the moment, though, so it's a lot more difficult for them to make it. Flaxis can respond to this top lane push and still have his TP available. However, it looks like Fnatic Academy are just, they can't quite work out exactly where they want to be at the moment. There's no Baron, it's going to be up in 16 seconds. There's no Dragon, Mountain Drake is next on the card. But actually, they've just brought 4 members across, and it looks like this tier 2 is going to fall. So another objective for them, smart rotation play. It's the 4-1 that we talked about in picks and bans. Sometimes you have to go across to your 1-man because the enemy team doesn't expect you to be there.
And it's just one of those things where you have 3 waves pushing towards the enemy team, and then you just rotate to the closest one with as many members as you can, because Giants will always be forced to answer the minion wave that you've just pushed in. So Giants, they have to wave clear in the mid, they have to wave clear in the bot, which means that they cannot wave clear up in the top, especially against 4 members of Fnatic Academy, and that results in a clean tower take going in their favor.
Something Fnatic have done really well this game and last game is isolate a member of Giants. Last game, it was Flaxish. We saw him basically 1-7, I believe, at the end of the game, just totally destroyed. This game, it's Knight on this Orianna. 0-4, continually getting ganked by Amazing early on and getting taken down because as soon as Niski gets ahead, we see no Negatron Cloak from Knight, no defense on him. We see a big spike from Niski early on, and it means he can just continually use that unleashed power to just chip away at Knight and chip away at his mental strength as well. The amount of times you die, you got to think that pays, has a toll on you as a player.
It definitely does.
I mean, you're used to it, so.
Oh yeah, I really am. I mean, when I'm 0-6 in my games, on Orianna specifically, it can really be difficult to find the mental fortitude to come back into game. But I know that when I look down to the bottom half of the map, there's always that possibility of a carry. When I look over towards you, and I think maybe I need to look a little bit more to the right. There's the AD carry that can bring me to victory. And right now, Hiku is having a pretty good game. He is at a pretty significant advantage in terms of farm over Rales. He has completed the Blade of the Ruin King, so he's looking pretty strong at this point in time.
That he is. Fnatic Academy will continue to extend their gold lead. 5,000 ahead now, or 5.5. And this is all they need to do. Eke out small advantages bit by bit, continue to put Giants on the back foot. Giants do have a stronger late game than we've seen from them before with the Orianna, with the Lucian. However, you're playing into an Ezreal and a Syndra, who are very difficult to deal with later on. And the question, I think, now comes, how ready are Giants to play a battle of attrition? No, it's like, it is. It's like, Giants can come into this and say, look, Fnatic Academy, we think we'll take them, we think we'll beat them, we'll choose them out of the 2 teams, we think we're going to win this. And now we're in game 4, they're 2-1 down. And mentally, you have to think, how strong are we? Compare them to Rockout, something we did earlier on. Mountain Drake actually started here. I'll talk about that point in a second. Momento's going to jump in. Amazing. Kicks him back towards the team. Mr. Wallace hook, but Flax is knocked back. Here's the culling. Memento gets the Dragon once again, but he's going to get knocked up. Actually, Kick is chasing him down. Memento gets out a 1 for a Dragon. Giants will take that trade at the moment.
But look at the difference. Mountain and an Infernal Drake going in the favor of Giants versus only the Ocean of Fnatic Academy. But Fnatic Academy have killed the big tanky top laner in Flaxish. Smite is available for Memento, but Fnatic Academy, they're moving towards the Baron.
It's a dangerous game to play when you're playing into an Orianna. That shockwave is still so strong when you're all grouped up like this, and Giants are responding. This could be it. Fnatic's hopes for that LCS spot might ride on this decision. They've gone for Baron. Clyde caught up. He's distracting. Fnatic actually going to disengage. Clyde just ran straight into the team to try and distract them. And Fnatic Academy went away from the Baron. They decide they can't do it.
It was a risky decision from Fnatic Academy, especially with Flaxish just respawning and having his teleport up available. This will give Giants priority over the mid lane. And these are those mid-game decisions that we're seeing from both teams, often being a little bit questionable. I understand the thought process from Fnatic as Rales takes a chunk of damage, but I understand the logic, which is we've got to kill, their tank is gone, they can't engage on us, let's try and go for the Baron, maybe we can force a fight. But I don't think they're in a really prime position to, especially with TP already gone from Kikis, his ultimate was unavailable, and now Giants, they actually have priority around the Baron. If they go for this gamble, no, they're just going to invest around the vision and just, for now, be happy with the control that they've re-established.
And this is the battle of attrition I was just talking about. How willing are Giants to sacrifice a man to take the dragon? How willing are they to try and get the fight, even if they stop the Baron and lose a person? Are they ready to make those trades? Because that's what they have to do to get back into this game. It's worked for them thus far, getting a kill, being able to close out that gold lead just a little bit more, get themselves ever so slightly closer. Only 4,000 between the two teams, and we have seen, and you can see the pained look on Lozark's face. We have seen how close these games can be when we get towards that mid-game and later on in the game.
I still think that for Giants, they have a very clear win condition of Storm. Orianna and Lucian have very good wave clear, especially when paired up with the Graves. Their late-game team fighting is very potent, and especially with the front line they have in Nautilus, there's no reason why Giants cannot win these team fights. And you can see here, the reason why there's no way for Giants to win is because half of their team is stuck behind a wall. So you're effectively in a 2 versus 5 if you're Giants. And the fact that you're able to get a dragon and only a 1-for-1, you only lose 1 member is actually pretty decent for you because you get that kill back later.
Oh, Flaxish teleporting in here, perhaps looking for a flank. All of Fnatic are around. You don't want that fight for the moment. Giants will back away, once again trying to secure vision around that Baron pit. And we're starting to see the items even out ever so slightly. There's still a slight advantage for Niski in that mid lane. Has finished the Luden's Echo. No Luden's Echo for Knight. He's on his way there. Amazing caught out though, Dredgeline gonna get knocked back and taken down by Memento. Is this the trigger that Giants needed? They're going to start the Baron up. They're gonna draw Fnatic into the fight.
That's a really significant pick. There is no smite available for Fnatic, but could the power of Niski be enough to win the fight for Fnatic?
Here comes Kikis into the backline. Flaxis locked up in the pit with the Strangled Thorns. He's gonna go low. Kikis jumps back in. The Wild Growth keeps him alive. Now Kikis has to flash away. Niski there. Unleash power onto Hustling. Not enough. Shockwave flashed away from Exhaust down as well. Fnatic Academy stopped the Baron. It's bit by bit that both these teams are trying to find an advantage. They're not done yet. Memento taken out, and Fnatic Academy get the jungle.
And now it's Fnatic with the pick. Memento's going to be dead for at least another 30 seconds, and look at Amazing. He's just respawned, he's making his way down the mid lane, and it is now Fnatic's turn to put the pressure onto Giants.
Well, it's going to be the mid lane tower falling. 5th turret of the game for Fnatic Academy. Extends their gold lead once again to 6,000. Still a seesaw of a game here, but at the moment there seems to be a weight on Fnatic's side, keeping them up, keeping them down. Actually, a seesaw if you put a weight on it. Maybe they want to be down on the seesaw.
I don't think anyone wants to be down. I think everyone wants to be up, and up.
There's some helium balloons on Fnatic's side as well, keeping them up as they continue to look as if they're going to win this game.
Well, again, there's still a lot of time left available in this game. The late game is still very heavily favored towards Giants. And I think that while Fnatic have good control, the fact that Giants were able to find that pick onto Amazing was impressive. They utilized good vision control. You can see how much vision they have in the top half of this jungle. And Amazing just wanted to try and drop a ward. Doesn't respect the lack of control that he has over his top side. And this is then just Fnatic not hard engaging into the fight, just playing slowly around it. All they want to do is force Giants off to also take damage from the Baron as well, and then eventually maybe they can find themselves a pick. They just need to play the flight slow, and then this is just a mistake from Memento. Flat out mistake. Shouldn't have gone for blue here, especially with all 4 members going back to base. Yeah. Poor communication and greed. This could have been a window for Fnatic to go for Baron. They don't gamble it. Instead, they just take them in tower, and then they disengage. And I think that was the smart decision, because now Kikis can move back off to a side lane. Look at how far ahead he is of Flaxish right now.
Yeah, glimpse of the Void buff, giving him extra damage to those towers as well, takes them down incredibly quickly. Fnatic Academy's team fighting throughout this series has looked a lot stronger. After game 1, And game 2, game 3, game 4 has looked a lot better from them. Now, once again, Giants going to start up the Baron. There's TP available for Kikis and none for Flaxus, so it's all on Flaxus to try and stop the engage from Kikis. Actually, Giants just back away straight away. There is an Infernal Drake on the cards as well.
I think Giants were just trying to bait out the TP from Kikis and then disengage from the Baron, because then they would be the ones to have the TP.
Yeah.
Priority over Kikis. For the time being, though, Fnatic don't fall for the bait. Giants, they disengage from the Baron before things get a little bit too hairy. And now that they've all gone back to base, that's just going to give a free dragon over towards Fnatic. That will equalize the Infernal Drakes.
Still a mountain in favor of Giants. Ocean Drake kind of falls off the later you get into the game, not as strong. Unless you can maintain sieges without taking too much damage like Hiku is. Does get hit up with the Wild Growth. The great shockwave onto Niski. Takes down one. The Stranglethorn's in as well. Hiku's still alive. Flaxus dead though. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Knight so low as Mr. Rales works his way through the front line of Giants. 1-for-1 trade. So quick, so explosive.
Looked like a huge fight in favor of Giants, with the fact that the shockwave only landed on Niski and he was the only one to drop. With such a healthy Rylai's and a healthy Amazing, means that Fnatic Academy are still the ones in the better position. They're posturing around the Baron. It would be very risky to go for that play now.
They do have the TP from Kikis. He's gone back, he's full HP. Now Fnatic are actually just going to spot out Giants as they push forward. Memento a little bit overextended here. Rales taken low. Amazing kicks at Hiku back. Memento trying to dodge around. Hustling's low. Hiku jumped up. Shockwave comes in. Here's Mr. Rales doing damage as well. And Giants are just on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. Rales flashing in. He's going to take down the Lucian just about with the double. And off towards the side. Actually, we see Amazing die as Knight gets him. That's a big, big win for Giants because they have their jungler and Fnatic Academy do not.
And while that one kill from Knight may very well save the Baron from going down for Giants, this is exactly the sort of play that they made earlier on. Fnatic moved towards the Baron, they clear out all the vision, then they move back towards that side brush. And they just punish Giants for trying to push up the lane. They end up getting collapsed on. 2 members of Giants are dead. Fnatic, they start up the Baron.
Knight still has Shockwave, but Memento is dead, taken out by Niski, and the Baron is falling. We can still have a Wonder Steal. We've seen Shockwave steals before. Here is Flaxus. The Baron going low, though, and Giants are not going to get there. Fnatic Academy take the Baron. They charge in as well. Knight not quite caught out with the ultimate as Fnatic will take themselves an 8,000 gold lead in this game.
And 4 members get it. Amazing wasn't quite back alive to pick up that buff, but it does not matter because Fnatic can be happy with the objective that they have gotten off the back of that fight. Good punishment onto Giants for overstaying in the mid lane. And Giants, it just comes back to what we've been saying throughout this series. Their mid-game decision-making is not the strongest. They just stopped. They've just actually gone for a pretty positive fight. They got a really good Shockwave combo down onto Niski. And if they could find another fight like this, then you could be pretty happy. Like, look at this trade overall. Niski ends up going down. Like, sure, you end up losing Flaxus, but this is a 1-for-1 trade. This is good. You just disengage, you reset the fight, and then you can look to start posturing around Baron again. Like, the longer this game goes on, the better these fights go, but you overextend in mid. There's also the TP flank coming in. There's no way that Knight is even in a position to help you. And this was just not, exactly the same play that Giants made in Game 3, and they end up getting punished for it, and they lose a Baron just like they did in Game 3 as well.
Mr. Rales is doing so much work in these fights. In the PSG series, I was slightly worried about his positioning at times. Here, he's 7-0-1 on the Ezreal, and consistently dodging back, kiting back, doing exactly what he needs to do to stay alive in the fight and be that consistent damage threat. Now we see Fnatic Academy. It's the 1-4 we talked about once again. Vedius Kikis is going to go mid, and 4 members of Fnatic will stay in this bottom lane.
I believe they actually have a pushing wave up top as well. Just going to have a very quick look. Yes, they do. So the slow push is starting in the top side in favor of Fnatic, which means they will have 3 pushing lanes. They have Baron 2, which means that they can swiftly rotate between the different lanes and start to knock on all 3 doors of Giants' base.
How much can Giants stall? That's what they need to do here. You've got Orianna Clear, Ludens, Voidstaff, Morello Nomicon. You've got the Lucian as well with the Rapid Fire Cannon, the Black Cleaver, the Blade of the Ruin King, and that extra BS sword just for a little bit of extra AD. That is your wave clear. Nautilus provides you a little bit as well. The question is, can Giants slow down this game enough to stop Fnatic in their tracks?
Well, it's going to be difficult. Remember that there's a lot of pick power on the side of Fnatic. It only takes 1 stun or 1 kick to give Fnatic the window in order.
1 kickis.
Or 1 kickis with the charge. Charge! Sorry. in order to
Rip
break into the
headphone
base.
users.
Apologies. All right, so here we go. The siege continues from Fnatic Academy. Kick is still sitting off onto a side lane. I don't know if they're going to gamble going for a dive, considering the Orianna ultimate, but that's a lot of damage on the Flaxish.
Here comes Kickers across the wall. Redemption used. He's taken low. The shockwave comes out as well. Memento forced away. Kickers low. Down. Off Skull. Amazing jumps in to get the kill on Flaxish. The culling comes out. Amazing will survive. All of Fnatic get out alive. Very low members there, though. And Giants lose one in Flaxish.
I think this is okay for Giants, though, because so many of the members of Fnatic Academy are so low that perhaps with Knight and Memento, this could be enough to deter them, but Fnatic, they're feeling confident.
That they are. TP is almost up for Kickers as well. He might rejoin the... Well, he can back and rejoin the fight if he wants to. They have 5 members. They won't get the inhibitor tower. It's delaying. This is what Giants want. They want to slow this game down because at the moment, they are looking down the barrel of a gun, and that gun is in Mr. Rales' hands.
9,000 gold in the favor of Fnatic Academy right now. Backs against the walls. A win in the promotion tournament means that you only need one more series win to get a spot in the LCS. And this is just Fnatic Academy realizing, okay, the wave clear's too much. We have to try and make a play happen. The shockwave doesn't really land onto anyone. And the big reason why Rales takes so much damage is he actually ends up tanking the tower because the shockwave doesn't hit anyone. It actually clears the entire minion wave. So damage still was dealt. But the reality is Fnatic, they dived a little bit too deep. Giants were too far into their base for the rest of Fnatic to continue the chase. And if they had, they could have ended up losing more of their members, which would have resulted in Giants getting some shutdown gold and maybe perhaps getting a bit more freedom back into this game, which at the moment they're desperate for anything.
Mountain Drake on the cards. Fnatic should get this one pretty safely. No possibility of Giants pushing out of their base at the moment. So this is going to be an objective-focused Dragon for them when they're looking to take down those inhibitor towers. 10% extra true damage will help them out immensely. And it does also mean, of course, the Elder Drake will be spawning next. So we've seen a lot of Elder Drake play. We've seen a lot of Baron play from both these two teams across this series. Fnatic tend to be in the team on the winning side when it comes to those big objectives.
Well, they've been getting better as the series progressed, and notice that in this game, I feel like that they actually haven't made really a big mistake that have given a big window for Giants to come back into, other than a really good pick onto Amazing around the Baron. They still played around the Baron exceptionally well. They didn't hard commit, they didn't overextend, they just played a slow, patient game, and they even ended up getting a kill onto Memento. And in this dive bottom, it was really the best scenario that they could do because they couldn't really match with the wave clear. So I feel like Fnatic have become more restrained, have been making better decisions as the series progressed, whereas Giants, they haven't evolved at all. They're still playing exactly the way they did in Game 1, and Fnatic are taking advantage of that.
Well, Giants continuing just to hold out. And I have to think they just need to slow this game down a little bit more. That's what they need to do. And if they can do that, then they'll be able to stop this Fnatic advance. But Fnatic, they're used to the late game. They are the kings of the late game. They relish in the late game when it comes to playing in the Challenger Series. This is a much tougher opponent, and actually a lot of people said these are the top 2 teams coming into this Challenger Series, into this promotion tournament. And I have to wonder, the team that takes a loss here, how much motivation will they lose? They've got a week to reset themselves, but losing out and having to play Origin or Misfits Academy?
I don't know, is it really that bad to lose to 4 former LCS players? Bear in mind that Giants is still a roster full of a lot of rookies.
Yeah.
First split for Flaxish, a first split for Hikyu, second split on the LCS for Knight and Memento. And Memento, he didn't really have a full split on Racket. He came like half or towards the end of the split. And then Huston, obviously one of the longest standing members of the Giants squad, but like it is still a pretty young team. They haven't made as much growth as they would have liked. We heard Memento earlier on saying that the team didn't really try hard because they felt like they had a lot of potential after their first few wins in the first few weeks of the LCS. And then they realized that they're in a lot of trouble. And right now, with being 2-1 down to Fnatic Academy, it could be in more trouble than they would have liked to have been since the start of the beginning of the split.
Well, Baron on the cards once again. Still see Kickers pushing up in that bot lane. It feels slow, but this is what Fnatic want. They want to just make sure that they're playing this game perfectly. It's also what Giants want, though. Fnatic playing slightly into their hand. Here comes the charge, off towards the side, onto Knight, blocks him up first, no shockwave yet. Wild growth used as well, collateral damage knocks them back. And this means Fnatic are going for the Baron. No vision there for Giants, no awareness at all. except for that Farsight alteration.
But now they don't have it anymore.
It's gone.
So the Baron has been started. As you rightly said, Fnatic, they have full control. Can Giants find the answer? That Baron's going down quickly.
Niski's in the front line. Baron down to less than half. Here comes Flaxus running in. Memento looking for the steal once again, but Amazing kicks him away. Flaxus caught up in the Stranglethorns. Memento's dead. Amazing takes him out, and Flaxus is so low. Kicker's in the front line looking for the kill. He just needs to get one more auto down. He's dead. Pocket pistol snipes him away. The shockwave only hits Amazing as Mr. Rales flashes over it. Knight's gonna get chased away by Mr. Rales. Hustling's gonna get taken down by Kickis, and this is Fnatic winning this series.
A massive Baron slaughter. Fnatic, they don't even care about the objective. They only want the kills because they've got that Nexus in their eyes.
17 kills to 6 and a 12,000 gold lead. The Challenger Series team defeat the LCS residents. They do still need to take down the Nexus. It's not quite done yet, and Knight and Memento will have something to say about this. And I may have spoken too soon. Giants trying to hold on. The charge in on Knight. Memento knocked back. Nexus Tower the first target. That's going to go down quickly. They're going for the second. Knight, no shockwave, no stopping. Fnatic's advance. Knight's caught out, not quite taken down, but the Nexus will fall! And Fnatic Academy take it 3-1. What a series, what play from Fnatic Academy, such improvement over the series. Great job by them. You can see how much it meant to them as well, standing up, cheering at the end. Commiserations, of course, to Giants on the other side of the rift.
I mean, it was an exciting series overall, but I felt like that as the games progressed, Fnatic, they just seemed to be getting better and better and better. Their understanding of where they can build leads, of how to play together as a team, and being able to get themselves the victory was a well-deserved win for Fnatic Academy.
You can see it means a lot to them. And as you say, well-deserved. Coops looking to try and get up to the LCS once again with this Fnatic Academy squad. They've had their ups and downs. They've had jungle replacements. They've had top lane replacements. Kickis was in hospital for a short period during the Challenger Series, but they have come back swinging. And you have to say now they are the favorites out of all of these teams to make it back to the LCS. Only Origin or Misfits stand in their way. Giants, on the other hand, might be downhearted at the moment, but they have a week to recover, and you have to think that from their LCS, from their spring split performance, they have a very strong shot at getting back into that summer split. The question is whether Origin and Misfits can bring up some surprises, as Fnatic Academy have done today. And you have to go back to some of their players, and you think, you know, Kickis often looked down on by a lot of people, saying, you know, he's not LCS caliber, he's not quite ready for it. Amazing the same, sometimes making mistakes in the early game. They've corrected those mistakes here, and they played incredibly well. They had some superb fights in this game as well. They had a great fight around the mid lane where they were able to catch out quite a few members of Giants and were able to get themselves back into the matchup. They were a little bit, you know, they're ahead at times, but look at this. Mr. Rales, I really want to focus on him because look at how much work he does here. Catches hustling out, continues to advance, just jumping forward. Then he goes for the solo kill onto Hiku. Now, Hiku's low, but Lucian has so much damage in this sort of situation. Rales stands up to the plate and gets himself counted once again, gets the kill. Amazing died at the end of that, which meant they weren't quite able to go around for that Baron, but it didn't cost them too much in the end. Some messy fights later on, and a couple of Baron kills got them what they needed. And this is the final fight. This is what defined it. Fighting around the Baron, Flaxus looking to get in. Memento was low. Amazing, showing up so well. Takes down the enemy jungler, stops the smite steal possibility. Flaxus in the front line. The rest of his team just wasn't able to do anything because the back line of Fnatic had so much damage. Shockwave flashed by Mr. Rales, and they just continued the advance on and on and on. And it was late enough in the game that they were able to take the win. Well, this is how the bracket stands now. Fnatic could go through to that winner bracket final, basically. If they win that, they're into the LCS. They will play against whoever wins from Origin and Misfits Academy tomorrow. Giants not out of it yet. They still have at least one more series to prove their mettle, and if they win that, they have one more win to get back to the LCS. The Origin Misfits match will be played tomorrow at the same time. The 1700, not 1500, 5 o'clock CEST. And it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be an incredibly close series, tough to call. Whether Misfits can show up as well as they did against Schalke, or whether that was sort of more of a first game on stage adrenaline boost that they got is the big question. Whether Origin have worked to get rid of some of their kinks, get rid of some of the errors that they have been making in the early and the mid game, some of their decision making as well. Going to be a great series to watch. Now, I think what you need to look at here for Fnatic Academy is how they go into next week. They need to correct a few of the mistakes they were making. They need to be able to work out exactly how they want to team fight, exactly where they're going to play those team fights later on. Because as this series progressed, they were getting better and better, but still not good enough to face up against some of the top LCS teams. Fnatic Academy's bot lane had a great series against Giants. For more, here is Vedius with one of their members.
Thank you very much, Medic. I am joined here with Cly. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good, thanks.
That's wonderful. Now, I was asking you earlier in the day, what were you thinking about Giants picking you? And you guys seemed pretty confident. Now, coming into this series, did they meet your expectations? Were they above? Were they below? What do you think about the team?
To be honest, we weren't too sure how this week would go because I'm the main voice in the team and I was sick this week, so the practice wasn't ideal. And Kikis, as the second voice, was also sick, so it was kind of a struggle to get through this week. But we managed to get here, and for Giants, I expected them to be pretty much on the level they were, maybe a bit better.
I see. That's it's very interesting. Now, moving into today's draft, you guys seem to have a very clear game plan coming into every single game. You actually had a lot of value on champions like the Ezreal and like the Lulu. Is this something that you've been playing a lot more of? Is this something that you think is really strong, or is this just something that fits your playstyle?
I think it's pretty strong in general in this meta, and it's champs we are comfortable with. It's not ideally the champs we mostly practice, because we know these champs and we know they're strong, so we want to try to work on other strategies as well. But we're very comfortable on these champs.
I see. So now with a win over Giants, you only need one more win to make it back into the LCS. How excited are you? How prepared are you moving into next week's games?
I think we'll be more prepared for next week, because this week was a coin flip, to be honest. But we managed to win the series 3-1. Could have been 3-0, but...
Brilliant. Okay, so with one final very quick question. Moving into tomorrow's games, who do you think is going to win Misfits or Origins?
Personally, I cheer for Misfits, because we kind of know these guys since early and we played with them a lot, so I cheer for them.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for this interview, Clay. With that, we are going to round out today of the first day of the promotion tournament. Be sure to tune in at 5 p.m. CEST for Origin versus Misfits, and we'll see you then.
I had to do so many game fights. I know the song from inside out. You know, I can probably play it myself by now. Ba-dam, bow, ba-dam, bow, ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Ulti up. Go slow, Gragas.
Look, Rengar, kill front line. Rengar dead. He's one health. Nice, okay.
Does still have the unleashed power. Amazing gets into that backline. The charm onto him, though. You don't want to lose your jungler when you're going for Baron. But he doesn't even stand in it. Kikis jumps in. Zonya's used to stop the explosive cast. A great equalizer onto Mr. Rales. They're going all in for the AD carry, and he is shut down. He's taken out. He's shut down, but Memento
Hit the Nexus!
the Nexus. He's going for it. 2 more shots will be enough. The Nexus goes down. Memento up towards the side, he's going in, he stole Baron! And that could be the nail in Fnatic's coffin. He even gets out, but Hustlin is caught, he's dead. Unleashed power onto Memento, keep going for the chase. Amazing, there's the depth charge coming back off cooldown, and Memento goes down.
Because they're looking to end the game and make this a 1-1.
10 minutes earlier than last game, but once again, the first blood means you're gonna lose. Fnatic Academy will take the win, and they'll equalize the series 1-1.
How long do we have?
Like 30 seconds, I guess.
Alright guys, flip the switch, it's showtime.
Maybe I'm trolling, guys.
That's
Maybe I'm...
Oh! That was great. Fine. Maybe we can
let's refocus now.
Kikis tanking playbook trickster is enough. The great flash from Flaxish. That was super to get the kill on Amazing and get out yourself.
Here we go. No. Back off.
One poor bot side.
I think I should run this case.
Here comes Amazing, jumps in, Sonic Wave. Kikis is going to join the bait. Knight will flash away. Amazing flashes to follow, as does Niski, and Knight is going to be first.
Oh! Nice.
Oh!
Nice one.
Amazing caught out though, Dredgeline gonna get knocked back and taken down by Memento. Is this the trigger that Giants needed? They're going to start the Baron up. They're gonna draw Fnatic into the fight.
No flash.
I give redemption.
Kill. We got it. We win.
Wait, kick is low, down, off Skull. Amazing jumps in to get the kill on Flash as the Cullen comes out. Amazing will survive, all of Fnatic get out alive. Fnatic's advance, Knights caught out, not quite taken down, but the Nexus will fall! And Fnatic Academy take it 3-1.